So this is a really important video where I discuss exactly how meme coins move. Now, if you understand this, and you may have to watch this a couple of times, but if you really understand this and can get to grips with this, then you'll do really well when it comes to trading meme coins. Not every trade will go your way, of course, but not only will you make money, but also you'll avoid losing money, which is the big problem for a lot of crypto investors and traders, especially with things like meme coins and NFTs, where they just don't understand how the markets move. And if you don't understand, then you get surprised. Price goes down 50, 70% and you don't know why. Whereas a more experienced trader would completely expect that to happen and be ready for that to happen. So I'm going to discuss that with you here. This is WIF. This is one of the most popular meme coins on Solana. And I'm going to go right to the beginning of the chart to show you exactly what happened, step by step. Now, this is a less common example, but we can discuss all of the common scenarios on the chart. And I'm here on a basic trading view chart on Deck Screener. You can actually open up the same chart if you wanted to on trading view directly, where there's more information. Some of the bigger meme coins, you can actually see them there. So if you prefer to do that, you can absolutely do that as well. So I'm just going to adjust the chart a little bit so we can see it a little bit better as well. I think that's about the most I can do. And then I can hide this sidebar as well. Just click three dots there and click that. So I can hide the sidebar as well. So we're here. And what we want to do is, I think we're on an hourly here. And if we really zoom out, like I said, this is an atypical coin because it's been around for a while and then it had a pump. If you really zoom out, you can see that things kicked off here all the way back in 20th of November. This is when it launched. And at launch, it had a very typical launch for a decent coin, a better coin. Basically, for any meme coin launch, when it's a decent meme coin, you always get a ride up, and within literally a day or so, sometimes within 12 to 24 hours, you get a pullback down. And this happens with literally all meme coins, even if they're going to moon afterwards. Because initially, at the initial stages, the first few hours, you get a lot of traders involved who we might call flippers, and we might call another group called snipers. Snipers want to get in as soon as possible, make 1x, literally 1x, double their money. So if it's $100, they want to turn it into 200 and they want to leave. That's it. And move on to another collection. They don't want to risk holding bags and have them go all the way down to near zero. That's how snipers work. And they're trying to get in as soon as the collection goes live, a few minutes later, as long as they've done some other due diligence and checks, as much as they could do. And that's all they want to do. They're sniping. Flippers would get in within the first few hours and then look to hold a trade for anywhere from 1 hour to, say, 24 hours. This is where we might be a lot of the time when we're placing trades, when we want predictable gains when it comes to meme coins. And then after the 1 to 24 hours, so those are the flippers, you can call the rest of them, if we generalize it, long-term holders. People who are prepared to hold for days. I don't recommend this when it comes to meme coins, especially trading new ones if you're looking to trade and make quick money and quick profits with meme coins. Because very few meme coins long-term trend upwards. That's why. And I can show you 100 charts that will actually prove that. So keep that in mind. So let's just remove these drawings. Next, these pumps initially with meme coins, they don't look like much on the chart. When I zoom out now, you'll see that you can barely see this move up. But in terms of percentage, if you click this button here with the 3 lines and you go to price range, and then you click, drag up, and then hold, you'll see that was actually a 500% move. What that means is, roughly, let's say 500%. It means basically 100, you could have turned into 500 or 600 pounds. 100 pounds of dollars. Basically, if you got in here in the first kind of hour or two. So something to note there. So this is where we get involved. If we're a sniper immediately, but a flipper first 1 to 24 hours. In the better coins, a lot of the pump happens at the beginning. And we'll discuss other things like socials, etc. as well in another video. But this is purely technical analysis. Let's say you had no other information about the coin, just the chart. You should know how to read a chart vaguely. You don't have to be an expert. You can clearly see prices going up and candles are going up. And then you can actually see in terms of percentage gains how far it will go up. And you know that I've said after a day or so, nearly all coins, sometimes earlier, will start to trend down. The next thing, we're going to talk about what moves the markets, what actually moves them up. Now, in the initial phase, by the way, you can get a few pumps. The maximum I've seen tends to be about 5 pumps, something like this. So first pump, pullback, number 2, number 3, the third wave up, number 4, pullback, and number 5. So, well, call it 3 actual pumps in price, and then you can get a major pullback. So something to keep in mind. We'll come back to that when we look at live new pairs in just a minute. Let's scroll right on this chart. As we're scrolling right, you can see price stayed stable. Now here, I wouldn't be involved in this, and you shouldn't be. You should be already out of it. But let's say you notice something. Price starts to pick back up again. The way price picks up in any meme coin or any smaller cap like altcoin, for example, or even larger cap, especially the smaller ones, is volume. At the bottom there, I've got volume running. Volume is basically how many people are buying and selling at any one period of time. Let's say in an hour. These are hourly candles. So every hour, depending on how much is traded, you can see in the top right there, it says the volume. So in this particular candle, there was 16,000 traded, for example. How do we get the volume on? Click on indicators here and type in volume and click on volume. And then it will show volume at the bottom. Now, still going sideways. And then what happens here? We have liftoff. Crazy. And what do you see at the bottom there? Very clearly, no volume. Almost a dead coin. So every hour, there's like $100 traded, maybe 1,000, then 500 for the entire hour. So no trading at all. And then suddenly on 8th of December, this meme takes off. Very likely something going on social, sharing, interest, a big mention, who knows. But everybody apes into this coin. And then the volume suddenly jumps to $100,000 in an hour. But it's the volume that's moved the market. Nothing special technically that says it's supposed to break out now. So you sometimes would have seen online, on YouTube or other places, people saying, drawing all kinds of weird triangles on the charts, saying, well, this meme coin is destined to break out now because it's perfectly wedged and stuff. This is all wrong. This is rubbish. It's the volume that moves the markets. It doesn't matter what the chart is doing. As long as volume comes in and interest comes in, attention comes in, the price will go up. End of story. End of story. Does not matter what the patterns are. And actually the patterns on meme coins are not clear at all because it's such a low volume traded thing that, so low volume that even here, for example, when we were moving $500, let's say you have a budget of investing, your entire crypto account is 5,000. You could have moved this market up 200% when it was dwindling over here. Maybe not that much, but a significant amount because there was literally only $500 being traded. You do a $5,000 trade and you see what happens, which we were seeing here. Anyway, let's move on. So we scroll, we get lots and lots of volume. And this is a really good pump. And you didn't need to get in the first hour or the second hour or even third hour. You could have been late to this and still caught some of this. And let's have a look at price range. Let's say we were 3 hours into it or something like that. No, we didn't even sell at the peak. We sold over here somewhere. Notice the move's 300%. That looks amazing on the chart because when we scroll out now, that move looks massive and this move looks negligible. But I already showed you that actually this negligible looking move was actually the bigger move because it was 500%. This was 300. A lot of crypto charts are like that. When you get in a lot later down the road, the gains are actually, believe it, a lot less, which is why I like to go for new coins because most of the gains are at the beginning, most of the attention is at the beginning, and it's before the meme coins had a chance to die off. Yes, it may still keep going, but I don't want to hold my coin for a month there hoping that suddenly it becomes popular later on. You need to keep moving your money and rotating and moving that liquidity and flipping that money to try and grow your trading account or investing account. That's what you need to do. So let's keep moving. So now we're up to this particular point and price is pumping, but notice it pumps again. Now this particular coin goes absolutely crazy. And this is a very, very rare example. But I'm showing you this just so you can see how volume works. That's my main purpose of showing you this coin. But this is a 1 in maybe 1,000 coin. So don't think they will all do this. But it does actually start to trend. And then once it starts a second pump, I call this a second wave. This is a second wave. So after all that initial business in the first few days, then it does nothing for a period of time. If a coin gets a second wave, it could be very significant. It could mean that it's becoming literally meme culture in the crypto world. And that's significant. And notice every time it pumps again, what do we have at the bottom? Volume. Every time, volume. That's what moves the market. So if you see the volume breakout, what does volume breakout mean? All it means is you see the bars getting smaller and smaller and smaller, everybody losing interest, and then the bars start getting bigger than this line that I've drawn going down. That's a volume breakout. As soon as you see it break out, very likely the price will follow. Not guaranteed, but a lot of the time, quite likely. Let's keep going. And then you see the price shooting up more and more. Again, what happened here? Dead volume. Well, dead relatively speaking. Still quite high. 20,000 every hour. That's quite high. But then it breaks out to 700,000 in an hour. Goes crazy. Everybody talking about whiff on dog with hat on Twitter. And then is a very strong trend. And that was the second. This is the third wave. Very rare for a coin to have a third wave. It means it's very, very popular. Think of the bonks of this world and things like that. Very, very popular coin. And then it goes very, very hard for very long. And then it reaches a peak here, as you can see. And since that peak, it's drifted off. And it's still holding a very strong market cap, but generally drifted off. And this little spike here was because crazy volume came in. Somebody paid a massive amount to buy into this coin. A ridiculous amount. Literally 19 million was traded in that hour. It was a ridiculous purchase for this coin. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to start guaranteed trend up or anything. It's just to show you that there is the volume that caused that spike. So you get these kind of three waves. Now, this is a coin that went crazy. And sometimes, if you have more belief in a coin, it is worth, especially if you're in your profit, it's worth letting 20% of your position run. And in this particular coin, if you did that, you would have added another 1,000% odd. So you would have made a lot of money on this coin. But remember, this is a rare example. Don't assume this is all coins. I'm showing you this because it can show you the volume very, very nicely. With the newer, smaller cap coins, it's harder for me to show you some of this analysis because most coins die out after a day or two. That's why it's harder for me to show. But if you look on the top traders here, you will see crazy figures. You will see people flipping to make life-changing sums of money. Absolutely. But that's only because this particular coin, it ran so much more than anybody probably thought. And next thing, so we talked about the volume, but there's another indicator I use. This is an indicator to help me with tops. So help me identify where we might get a significant pullback. And it's a simple indicator. It's called the RSI, Relative Strength Index. And it kind of tells us if something's overbought or oversold in a particular coin. So even here, now remember the initial part where I showed you the 500%. You can see now, when you zoom out, it's barely noticeable. But that's where, like I said, a lot of the multiples are to be had. And to be honest, in this particular coin, if you did hold long term, it's here early where you'd have made life-changing money. Not actually in the third wave where it looks like a lot, but you may have only doubled your money or something like that. It definitely wouldn't be a 5x or a 10x. Now here initially, look at the first initial moves here and look at the RSI. It goes over the top line, which means it's overbought. There's too much interest in it and it's spiked. Sorry, we were even further back here. So you can actually see it here, line up quite nicely. See that peak line up with this? So if you see the RSI going to overbought, sometimes it can reach that even before the peak. Or sometimes at the same time, you know that it's actually the market's a little bit too hot. And you can see here a smaller peak here, not very overbought, but price was kind of moving sideways. It doesn't really help that much if price is moving sideways. Generally, you want the price to be trending upwards first. But it caught another peak there, another smaller peak there, and then it was massively overbought here. So you knew that we would do potentially a big correction, and that's exactly what happened. And then it was overbought here again because it's over the top line, and so on and so forth. This is brilliant. This is one of the best ways to pick tops in meme coins. You can see there as well, overbought. And here, it was overbought, but if you held, you probably, you would have made a lot more money because it kept going up, which is why I'm saying, yes, it could have pulled down, but you can always let some of your profits run and have a kind of mental stop loss in mind as well. Again, you don't want to overcomplicate this. This is meme coins we're talking about. But This is another thing I found to be quite helpful. So those are two of probably the best indicators I use. To be honest with you, there aren't a lot you can use, like I said, with the meme coin market. Let's have a look at a couple of other charts, a couple of other coins, and let's just see how they've moved. So we'll start with a popular one first. You may have heard of on Avalanche, is Cock Inu. So let's type that one in here. Same thing here now. So I'll get on an hourly chart, remove all my drawings, scroll to the beginning. Now this is, again, a very rare coin because it's a coin that did way more than anybody thought it would do, and it became one of the best coins on that particular chain. But same thing, after launch, we have this pump. Sometimes it could be almost like 5 waves altogether, so 3 pumps basically, and then we get a big pullback, usually after a day or two. You can see that's classic here. And then this second wave, is a rarity. And a third wave's even rarer. Most coins are literally like that, the better coins, and then they die off, and then they never ever get back to all-time highs there. They just stay below here. They never go up again. So that's most coins. And notice here, we've got the coins here. Let me just show you the volume again. You can see volume breaking out here at the bottom. You can see that very clearly, and that's what pushed price up. If volume doesn't break out and it dies off, this coin would have died with it. Simple as that. So we get that second wave there, and it's very, very strong. And to be honest, you can describe this part as a second wave, or that as a second wave, and then this as a third wave. It depends which way you want to look at it. But basically, we got to that top there, and then we've never been able to get back, even though this is like one of the best coins on the chain. It struggled to get back. Now, what do you think is going to get it back? Volume. Look at the volume come back in there, push this price up, and then we never got any follow through in volume, and now we don't have any. So basically now on an hourly basis, it's still trading a lot of volume generally compared to other random new meme coins, but it's more like 50,000, 100,000. But to move this particular market with this market cap that Cock Inu has, you need to be doing this kind of volume, like 2 million, 3 million in an hour. That's what will push. That's the problem with meme coins. This is the other problem. The momentum, momentum needed once they've already pumped a lot, to keep them pumping up is unbelievable amount. You need that Twitter to go from like 5,000 to like 50,000 or 100,000. You need a lot of momentum. Basically, everybody in crypto land to be talking about them. That's how Bonk got so high. It just got to a point where everybody was talking about Bonk. And then it got to those very high levels. Otherwise, it never will. So these are not coins that you want to get involved in much further down after the fact. Unless you think, like here, it was about to start a third wave. Now, looked like it was about to start one, but then it never had any follow-through. So these are the ones I would kind of stay away from. Now, let's look back, because another thing we mentioned was RSI. So let's quickly go into the indicators, type in RSI, and let's see how that did here. So going back to the initial parts here. So the initial kind of 5-wave move, we can see one peak there, RSI overbought, peak there, RSI, peak there as well. So yeah, generally it worked quite well on an hourly chart. And same here. At these peaks, these highs, I was actually involved in this, and I managed to sell, definitely not at the highs, but not far off, because I was keeping an eye on RSI. And then I knew that it was a bit overbought. But then afterwards, I didn't know it could push up again. I never knew. You keep an eye on markets and stuff. And actually this pump I was involved in as well, made a little bit of money, not much, because it kind of pulled back quickly, and then the price never did anything again. So I've just stayed out of it, and I have no interest in it now, unless volume comes in and something is going on. But like I said, it will need a lot for that to happen. So in the next video, we're going to talk about new coins, the more common coins. So I've just shown you 2 of the 1% coins. The 99% of the coins that happen, that launch every day, that's what I'm going to show you next. The ones that you are more likely to trade, and I'm more likely to trade as we go forward. These ones I've just shown you because long term, you'll see what happens. But when I show you these 99% ones, you're never going to see them long term doing anything. They're all going to be slowly dying and going towards zero. And that's a very important lesson for you to know, because when it comes to flipping meme coins, you have to move quickly. Get in there quick and get out fast once you've made profit, or you cut your losses quickly and you move on. Very, very important. Thanks for listening.